It's the
Okay.
perfect radio voice. Oh my gosh.
Oh, thank you.
But now I know what I'm doing on Friday when the weekend comes. And when I start thinking about
Hello.
Kickin Country 105.3, Lee Richey keeping you company. And you know how much I love to bring you guys new artists and new music that grabs my ear. And one song came across my desk by a young lady named Halle Kearns. The song is Plans. And I'm so happy to have her with us today. Hello, Halle.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's great to have you. It's great to meet you. And congratulations on Plans.
Thank you. It's been such a fun release. I appreciate that.
It's a great song. You know, when I first heard it, and I don't know. All right, before I tell you this, you tell me who people have said you sound like.
I've gotten kind of all across the board. A lot of Casey Musgraves. I've gotten Kelsey Ballerini. I've gotten, yeah.
The first couple of lines, I heard Miranda Lambert. Like,
oh, see, that's amazing. It's always
totally.
That's great. Yeah.
Totally. It's a
They're
great
amazing.
song. Let's find out a little bit about you. You're from Columbia, Missouri, now living in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes, sir. That is right.
So tell me, have you sung like as long back as you can remember or wanted to sing?
Yeah. So I started singing whenever I was I was putting on shows for my family when I was about 5 or 6 years old. So the performing started back then, but I picked up a guitar at about 13, and I really wanted to learn how to play worship songs, and so I could lead worship for my local Young Life group.
Sweet.
And I just fell in love with it so much more than I ever thought I could. And when I was about 16 or 17, I told my dad, this college conversation started coming up, and I just said, I think this is what I want to do. I don't think I need school for this. I think I just want to be like a touring artist. And he was like, what does that mean or look like? How do you even do that? And I don't have any idea, but I'm going to figure it out. And
Turn on CMT and say, look, Dad, that's where I'm going to be.
Exactly.
So how did your family respond when they realized that you were serious about this?
My dad is the most supportive. He's just awesome. He's always pushed me and my three sisters to just find what our purpose is here on this earth. Forget the 9 to 5. If it is a 9 to 5, that's what's going to make you happy. Beautiful. But if it's not, take your time to figure it out and make sure you're feeling fulfilled every step of the way. So, he's been on board ever since I said, I'm going to do this.
Obviously, they knew you had some talent there.
I don't know. I watched videos from back when I was about 17, 18. I'm like, there's no way you should have let me do this if that's what I sounded like.
Oh, that's funny. So how did you get from Columbia to Nashville? From Missouri to Tennessee, Music City.
There's actually a stepping stone in between. I moved to Kansas City right after high school, which is about 2 hours away from my hometown. My family moved there, so I followed them thinking I'd stay for a couple months, get my feet wet in the whole music thing, and then I would go to Nashville finally. And I ended up staying there for about 3.5 years. I got in a really cool show circuit. I started shadowing an artist there, and then finally made the move in 2019.
That's great though, because all of that experience probably, to put it under your belt, it was probably really great to have.
Definitely.
When you moved there, did you have a plan when you went to Nashville? Did you have any networking done already, or how did it work?
I started taking trips that last year in Kansas City, so I feel like I had a good little community starting to build already when I moved here, which was great. It definitely made that transition a lot easier. The plan was just to start creating, and I took a whole year off of shows because, again, I spent that last 3.5, 4 years doing nothing but playing, and so I was like, I need to work on what I'm gonna say when I'm playing. What story am I telling? I'm telling mine, but how do I do that best? So I wrote for the first whole year I was here in Nashville, and I wrote everything from super honky-tonk country songs to, actually wrote an EDM song, it's just all across the board. And I fell where I am now, and just in this kind of dance between pop and country, and I feel like I finally kind of found my voice, found what I needed to say, and started releasing last year.
Good for you. Good for you.
Thank
So
you.
Plans is not your first single.
It is not. It is my 6th song, but my 4th release. So I wrote 5th release. I had 3 singles come out the end of last year, and then an EP come out in December. So 5-song EP, and then this is my first follow-up single to that.
Let's give it a listen right now from our guest Halle Kearns. This is her new single. It's called Plans on Kickin Country 105.3.
can't get disappointed if there ain't expectations. No promises you're breaking, but I'm breaking all the rules I used to swear by. Those arbitrary guidelines. The way that I live my life is changing. I used to just live in the moment, not think past the morning. But now I know what I'm doing on Friday when the weekend comes. And when I start thinking about next summer, well, I think about us. You got me dreaming about more than right now. It's freaking me out how head over heels I am. Yeah, you got me making plans. You got me making plans. Boy, the way you kiss me, it hits me just like whiskey. Those feelings that you give me, they get me. Start looking past the present, stop looking for an exit. I'm thinking about commitment, yeah, I'm different. Cause now I know what I'm doing on Friday when the weekend comes. And when I start thinking about next summer, well, I think about us. You got me dreaming about more than right now. It's freaking me out how head over heels I am. Yeah, you got me making plans. You got me making plans. Don't know what you're doing to me, but I ain't complaining. Cause now I know what I'm doing on Friday when the weekend comes. And when I start thinking about next summer, well, I think about us. Got me dreaming about more than right now. It's freaking me out how head over heels I am. Yeah, you got me making plans. You got me making plans.
Kickin Country 105.3. That was Halle Kearns and Plans. What a great song. Tell us about it.
Thank you. Absolutely. It's kind of talking about my fear of commitment, to be honest with you. It just walks you through, you know, the opening line, what it just said. You can't get disappointed if there aren't expectations. That's sort of this mentality that I was in for a while because I had really given my heart to people in the past and just been really let down. So I'm like, you know what? There are no expectations with this. I'm just going to go with the flow, like whatever. And it kind of talks about meeting someone that makes you want to look down the road and look ahead and build a future with. And it's a different approach for me, for sure.
Very cool. It's a great song. Folks that just heard it maybe for the first time and really, really like it, how can they get a copy?
It is absolutely everywhere you can listen to music. If you listen to YouTube, Pandora, Spotify, Apple Music, it's on all of those.
Fantastic. Writing for a full-length release, another EP or an album even?
I have more songs I know what to do with right now, which is really exciting.
Now, was that because of COVID? Because I know a lot of people just were so creative because they had nothing else to do.
You know, I spent most of my quarantine in release mode, so I didn't realize how much energy that took and how much time and effort. So I really kind of took a break from writing, and I wasn't feeling super inspired in the writing aspect of things.
Okay.
But I took about 5 months off. I mean, of course, a couple songs came out here and there, but about 5 months off of writing. And then as soon as I released that EP, I had so many ideas. I wrote all January, February, March, the floodgates were open. I wrote so many songs, and I am in love with a lot of them. So my plan this year is just to release like crazy, and I'm pretty sure it's going to end up being a...
Do you write by yourself, or do you collaborate? Do you have writing partners?
Yeah, I write with a lot of different writers in town. They're all amazing. Most of them are friends.
When you got to Nashville and you started writing with people, how did you come about that? I mean, I know the writing sessions are kind of weird because you schedule them sometimes with people that you've never met before, and you go into a room and you're expected to kind of just be creative and bare your soul and everything else. How did that strike you the first time?
It was an adjustment for sure, because the only times I had written music in the past, it was just when I really felt inspired. I was in my bedroom, you know, sometimes it's midnight, and that's the way I had gone about writing. And then you get to Nashville, and people are scheduling writes months in advance. And I'm like, how do you know what you're going to want to talk about that day?
I know,
and you have
right?
to start being creative at 11 a.m., 11 to 3, you got to be creative. And it's a weird thing to tap into, but it definitely, you get used to it and you start learning how to kind of turn that faucet on and off.
How does that work? Somebody just like you're sitting there and, you know, you're all kind of bleary eyed and the coffee hasn't kicked in yet. Somebody throws out an idea or a word or a phrase.
Yeah, I have a whole notes folder. I think a lot of people do it the same way, where just a note of gibberish that has so many different ideas, and maybe this would be a cool title, or this is a cool concept, or a nice hook, or whatever. And everyone starts throwing ideas out, and then something will click always, and everyone's like, "Ooh, that's exciting! That's what I want to write about today." Or a lot of the conversations start with, "So how are we feeling today? What are we feeling like writing about today?" It's like a therapy session every time.
Our guest is Halle Kearns. The song that you're hearing on Kickin Country is called "Plans." I think you're going to be hearing a lot more of it. And Halle, are you named after somebody in your family?
I am not. I am named after Halle Berry.
You really are?
I really am.
No way.
Yeah. My name was going to be Emily until a couple weeks before my due date, and my parents were watching some Tonight Show of some kind, and Halle Berry came on. They're like, "Wait, Halle's a really pretty name," and that's the way it's spelled just like her and everything. But yeah.
Oh, that's very cool. Okay, because I know before we started this, I said, "Is it like Halle Berry?" And you're like laughing.
No,
Okay.
no, it's weird you said that. Yeah.
It really totally is.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, very good. Good luck with everything. And, you know, if all this craziness winds down, which I think it is, are you getting out to play at all?
I'm finally getting to again. I played my first 2 shows back 2 weeks ago here in Nashville, and I have a lot of shows lined up for the fall, so I'm really excited.
Good. Bring it up to New York. We'd love to see you.
Oh my gosh, I would love that so much, so much.
The song is called Plans. Halle Kearns is our guest. You can find out more about her where?
Everywhere you can look up someone, it's just at Halle Kearns. My website's hallekearns.com. It's all super straightforward.
Very cool. Thank you so much for taking time to chat with us direct from your morning workout.
Yes, I know. I got on today and I was like, oh man, I'm looking rough, but
Oh, you look great. You look great.
Thank you
Thank you so
for having
much.
me.
All right. Good luck with everything.